Bitcoin has been trading in a range for the past few days, so I just want to go over a few key levels that I'm kind of watching in the market right now. And even though we're stuck in this trading range, this is just the 5 minute chart here, zoomed out a little ways, of course. But yeah, this range itself is almost 10%, so some nice volatility in the markets, which is a nice welcome change of pace from the several months leading up to this market volatility. I'm just going to zoom out to my 4 hour chart. And what I'm kind of looking at right now is I'm very interested to watch how this yellow box performs, because the fact is we had a high here and we did set a higher high here. So it's nice to see that structure. What I'm really hoping to see out of this yellow box is kind of like what we got back here, where we had the resistance of this range back here flip into support here, which led us to that very nice move to the upside there. And now I'm kind of hoping to see the same thing. We broke out of this range and we're kind of coming back to it, testing it as support. I don't know. I mean, it's looking a little bit weaker than this one because obviously we had a nice breakout from this range back here, whereas these levels here we just barely broke out of. So we're going to have to see what happens here. If we drop out of this box, especially if we're closing 4 hour candles below this support here, I think it makes a lot of sense that we come down and test this green box down here, which would actually be the higher low that I'm watching, because as I mentioned, we had a higher high. This would be our lowest point between the two. That's kind of the level that I would love to see turn into support if we do get that move to the downside. If we start closing candles below this little bit of structure back here, I think Bitcoin might have a little bit of a hard time and may actually get a much bigger fall. Obviously, we do still have this support back here, but I think that would just be a little bit of a change of structure if we see that we lose that higher low. I don't think that would be good for the market in the short term to mid term. Even if we come back down and test these levels, I still don't think... well, obviously that would be a little bit scary because the floor could absolutely just drop out from under us, because there could be a lot of fear in the market if we get back down to these levels. But from a structure standpoint, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. We just had this explosive move to the upside. It would make sense that we kind of fill some of this trade range and retest some of that area a little bit. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Bitcoin likes to stay irrational for long amounts of time, so we're going to have to just see what happens. You can see this red line where we topped out at so far. That shouldn't come as too much of a surprise, because I've been talking about that level for quite some time, that this 25K region all the way up towards about 25.2, 25.3. I've been talking about that on this channel ever since we were making this pump back here. I was saying that, yeah, I think this is an important level of structure at this level, which we did obviously respect briefly there. But I was more concerned about this level up here, because that is just looking at things on the opposite end, obviously. We had this low, we have a lower low, highest point between the two. That was our lower high as far as a daily chart goes from what I was looking at. So I had mentioned several times that I thought if there was a level I was interested in shorting, it would be on the shorter time frames at this level, looking for that swing fail. And I mean, we did get it. I really wasn't too shocked that we're not just smashing right through this on the very first try. And quite honestly, it's not that bad of an idea, or it shouldn't be all that scary that we do consolidate at these levels. I would love to see Bitcoin just kind of consolidate and form some structure at this level, because we already know it's an important level in the market. It would be great to form that, just like back here, just forming that structure, just like back here, forming that structure and giving the price somewhere to bounce off of if we retest those levels. So if we trade here for a little while and we do get that breakout, I mean, we all know that there's massive resistance coming up, kind of that whole range of 28 towards 32,000 US dollars. That was a very important level in the entire social media, any crypto Twitter, everyone is very well that that's a massive level of resistance. And if we get shut down from that level, I would much rather have us slowly getting to the upside here and creating these structure levels, so that if we do get that harsh rejection, whether it's near the bottom or we get right to the top and get shut down, I want to see structure in the chart so that Bitcoin can end up finding some support off of these levels. Obviously, like I said, we're going to have to see what happens. But yeah, those are some important levels I'm looking at. I just want to see what the MDX Elgo 3 is saying. And you guys know that I've pointed this out before. It actually maps out these red and green boxes for me, just as demand and supply zones. So just to show you, I guess let's take a look at and compare it to my own analysis here. Let's just make all of mine yellow, just so that it's easier to tell which ones are mine, which are the indicators. Bring that back up. And you can see that it's actually agreeing quite well. I mean, obviously, it was also pointing out this resistance from our lower high there on a macro scale. So yeah, absolutely called the top of this so far. You guys know my opinion on that. That I don't necessarily think the price is in that, or Bitcoin's in that bad of a position, even though it's seen this little pullback. I think that's totally fine. Yeah, interesting to see that its demand zones are lining up quite well with my boxes here. Let's just actually remove my drawings. And yeah, you can see that it is also very interested in this this higher low area that I was talking about. I mean, that's that lower high between the high and the higher high. So very cool that this indicator does actually map those out for me. Like I said, this is all the indicator. I never drew any of these boxes. As far as resistance to the upside, see, it's actually thinking the resistance would be much further than that 28K level. And I tend to agree that this would be our next, I guess if this was our lower high, this would have been the one before that level. So interesting that once again the indicator is showing that there is a bit of a supply zone there, and which could actually end up acting as a bit of resistance. But I mean, if we break out from this range that we're at now and we form this nice support, so the price is actually able to make some nice moves, I mean, that's another very nice move to the upside, another 20% for Bitcoin, 20 to 30% if we would end up testing that next level. So very cool to see that we do have some nice price gaps here. I don't think Bitcoin's in that bad of a position. I totally think that, yes, these pullbacks are, for one, necessary, and they can be very serious swings. Obviously, you don't want to be over leveraged, and you want to be using proper bankroll management. I'm not saying we're going to the moon tomorrow or anything like that. But just, yeah, like I said, I don't think all hope is lost or anything like that. I'd also be interested to watch for, I don't know, some kind of, let's say, expanding channel, maybe something sort of like this. That would be another range that would be worth watching, in my opinion. We'll have to see if it is respected. I mean, if we dump to the downside here, do we get a bounce? We're going to have to see. Maybe get some kind of a failed break. That would actually be quite nice, and potential setup for a nice bullish play there. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens there. Just to look at a few random altcoins here. BDP was one of those low cap coins that has been on my radar. Not loving the look of it. The fact that we have kind of flipped, from the looks of it, flipping this support into resistance. We do technically, there's the chance that we find support at this yellow line. We could be setting some kind of a double bottom, but I mean, it does look to me like this is absolutely a possibility that we would retest the lows of this channel here. And although that doesn't seem like it's that far away, I mean, from where we're at right now to the bottom of that channel would be almost a 40% dump to the downside. So these low cap coins are very volatile, very high risk. Do your own research, do your own opinion. I know nothing about them. I just draw colorful lines and trade them sometimes. So looking at XTP, I think that it makes perfect sense where it got that bounce today. Sold off to where we obviously had this very important level in the market previously. So no surprise to see that little bit of a bounce there. Even if this is a dead cat bounce, just some kind of a short-term rally. I mean, like I said, they're so volatile. That's almost a 40% move to the upside. So that's just beautiful. Looking at the daily chart as well, bringing up the indicators, you can see on the daily time frame that we pretty much wicked perfectly to not only that support back there, but also the trend confluence, which would be basically the 3-day trend which would be showing support there for the daily chart. So absolutely beautiful to find support there. Polex, that is another one, very low cap, very high risk, just like all of these random shit coins I'm talking about here. Again, know nothing about it, but what I do see is there's potential for very large moves to the upside here, very large gaps. And right now on the daily, you can see that we are just kind of consolidating. We have, we've broke some of these levels, important levels in the market. And we're trading above the indicator here on a daily time frame, and the daily EMAs are lining up above the 3-day trend confluence there. So that's beautiful. As long as we kind of stay above these EMAs here, this smooth green line here, and we just consolidate on top of that, I think it could be setting up for an explosive move. Again, I know nothing about the fundamentals. Do your own research. I'm just looking at the potential for some of these big gaps up. And I know that some of these low cap coins, I think a lot of them, the ones I'm looking at, are mostly on KuCoin. Some of them are on DeFi and stuff like that. But this is a KuCoin pair here. And yeah, just looking to, even if we get back up here, that would be a 50% increase. If we ended up making it, and I'm actually seeing that I never drew that where I thought I did. I want to move that up even a little bit more there. If we were to break out and just moonshot to this next target, I mean, that's over a 200% move to the upside. And this coin, I think it has under $1 million market cap. So I'm not trying to shill you guys anything. Like I said, they're extremely high risk. I'm laying with very small amounts of money on these little shit coins. So that's just something that I can't stress enough. So anyways, that's a few things that I have been looking at with Bitcoin. And as well as just a few altcoins. So if you appreciated this video, please do me a favor, smash that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you are interested in these indicators that I use, I do have a 15% discount referral link down below. Check that out if you want. If you do get involved, if that is something you're interested in, also sign up for MDX's Discord community there. Get linked up, because honestly, I find that most of the value comes with just being in there with other traders, learning different strategies. There's a lot of great traders, active traders, and people with a lot of education in there. So I think it's a great community. Everyone's super friendly and helpful. It's just great. So that's just, if you do like these indicators, get involved with that. But yeah, other than that, my friends, I'm out. Stay safe. Peace.